The Corvette has always been a style icon. A dream car for Americans for over 70 years now. But the performance certainly didn't match its looks with the first generation. Sure, by 1962 you could get a fuel-injected V8, 4-speed manual, and limited slip diff. But underneath that fiberglass was barely evolved past a covered wagon. Still, it's hard to not look cool driving a Corvette. That is, unless you're this idiot.
It's a Corvette. You do burnouts. It's a V8. Because it's like a collector's car. You don't treat it that way.
Welcome to Hoovie's Garage, the dumbest automotive channel in all of YouTube. And this, well, it is my latest purchase. It is a 1962 Chevrolet Corvette, and it is in absolutely incredible condition. I feel like I totally stole the car, and so I decided to drive it a bit like I stole it. And, well, it doesn't drive anymore, hence why Dennis is here at the farm, and it is on the tow truck, so things are going to be a little bit out of order today. Normally, I take you on a tour, I show you the car, talk about how it's special, and then take it on a drive to go up to the car wizard to see everything that's wrong with it. But this is, well, obviously I broke it out of sheer stupidity trying to do a burnout in a 60-year-old Corvette. Take a look. Yeah, so something bad has broken. The transmission, the drive shaft, the diff. I'm not sure, so that's why it's going to go up to the car wizards, and we'll see him first and what he thinks about it. Hopefully maybe an easy fix to where I can do this video properly, but still very, very happy with this Corvette. Skeeter's Towing always here for the rescue. Dennis, what do you think of this one?
Well, I found the abandoned vehicle. I figured I'd bring it to you, see if you wanted to buy it.
Well, not really. No, but you have had a few of my Corvettes on the
Yes,
ramp before. And that's all blue 66, I think, twice.
Yes.
So,
yes.
yeah, sold that one and replaced it with this beautiful thing. But yeah, you have it on there backwards because of my parking situation, right?
Yeah, I didn't really want to get pushed backwards very well, but it rolls forward pretty good.
But it's so aerodynamic both ways that should be just fine, and then that hardtop's bolted down. So fingers crossed you don't lose a hardtop along the way.
Yes, I will, trust me, I'll be watching it big time.
All right, well, happy trails. I'll see this car in a bit at the Wizard.
All righty.
Thanks for the rescue.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Well, the car wizard is already on it. Hello.
What did you do?
What do you mean? What I?
Look, it's spinning, but nothing's happening. The wheels aren't turning.
So I was doing burnouts.
Who does that? It's a Corvette. You do burnouts. It's a V8. Because it's like a collector's car. You don't treat it that way.
Yeah. I mean, it is 60 years old. Huh.
Yeah.
So I didn't mess up the transmission or the drive shaft, huh?
No, that's all seems to be fine.
All right. Well, should we turn it off and inspect?
Yeah, let's see what we can do. Teshlong.
It is long. What does the Teshlong see?
Right over here on the right-hand side. See the
Oh
broken
dear.
teeth? They're just sheared right off. The teeth are broken.
Okay.
So if we were to drain the fluid, it would just be pieces of teeth all down in there.
So I need a diff.
Yes.
I should be able to do burnouts in this car though, right?
It's old though.
But it's still a Corvette. I stole this thing. I bought it, it was at auction, and I bought it for $45,000, which for any first generation Corvette, that is an absolute steal. The guy was selling his airplane and he took this on trade. He really didn't want it, so didn't care what it brought, so I got it for a steal, I think. I mean, cosmetically it's beautiful. I'll show everybody that in a little bit because this video is kind of out of order, but mechanically it was fine. It was driving great until...
It was. Didn't you do a burnout before in like that E63 AMG and you blew your power steering
Those
pump?
were donuts.
Donuts.
But
That's
like
it.
on my old 66 Corvette, I was able to do burnouts in it and not hurt anything, but it's not this old school solid rear axle thing. And this is horse and buggy era stuff here, huh?
Yeah, they even have a little Velcro strap to keep the axles from drooping too much.
All right. Well, do you see anything else wrong while we're here? I guess you don't need the Teshlong to do that.
No, I'll set it aside. I see a brake wheel cylinder or an axle seal, one of the two leaking here. Probably an axle seal.
So no four-wheel discs on this one.
No, it's probably four-wheel drums.
So leaky brakes.
Mm-hmm.
This one's not as bad, but still maybe a little bit, huh?
Yeah, some seepage going on there.
All right, well, you have to take all this off to get the axle apart anyway, right?
Yeah, you got your exhaust it's really starting to rust through.
Oh, well, that's why it sounds a little extra spicy. Okay.
Spicy.
Yeah, it didn't sound very good, so...
It's leaking up here, too. See the black soot?
Yeah.
It's making that horrible sound there.
Yeah, it didn't sound great, but... Oh, we got leaks here, too, huh?
Yeah, the transmission's leaking right in through here. Could be this shifter seal here.
Okay.
Leaking down the sides.
So no big deal.
No, I'll have to take these shift arms off and pry the seals out, but we probably could do that.
Okay. And then oil leak, or maybe?
Yeah. Valve cover gaskets, oil pan, several different things are all leaking together.
Oh.
This is all wet up through here. It's wet up through here. Yep.
So it needs a bit of a refreshing, huh?
It needs an engine reseal. This looks all like an aftermarket tag or something.
Like the front license plate?
Yeah.
If that was required? Yeah. The interesting addition. So
This shock is blown out. I see it's all dripping oil.
interesting.
Let's check the other one. Same thing. Shocks are blown there. Let's go check the back. Those shocks are good. Just the front ones are blown.
The engine's leaking from 2 or 3 different places. The transmission's leaking from one place. The shocks are blown. The brakes are leaking in the back. And
The rear end needs to go to a dentist because the teeth are all broken.
I blew my differential. Huh.
You look
This
pretty
was
bad.
the cheapest Corvette in the USA. So I do have some room for repairs. Guess we'll see how much it is. You excited? You don't know Corvette parts. I could be in for a cheap one, huh?
You could be. It's possible.
All right, you're shoe shopping, which can be dangerous, but they're New Balances, so they're not... $12,000 for New Balances?
Yeah, these are the Joe Fresh goods. No emotions or emotions. And it's actually the same color as your car, the Roman red.
Roman red. You have no idea what that means, though, right?
No.
Me neither. Shoe guys will probably know, but $12,000. There's no way you're getting 12 grand out of a Corvette diff.
Well, at least I'll get a portion of it.
You'll get some jorts or something. Maybe some normal New Balances, the full Corvette garb. I see what you're doing there, but no, not $12,000 shoes.
I think you're right. I had my hopes set on a really nice pair of those Joe Fresh goods, but after I started looking some of the prices of your parts for this car, you're right. I'm not going to get there. There's no way. So, like the valve cover gaskets, $24.
Nice.
The distributor cap is $10.
Okay, for like a tune-up, all right.
The rotor for the distributor $1.38.
Huh.
Spark plug wires are $35. The oil pan gasket's $19.
They made these 327s for so long and put it in so many cars that there's still a million of them out there. This is great.
The brakes are leaking. The wheel cylinders are $13 each.
Okay.
The brakes themselves, the shoes are only $27.
So shoes for a Corvette are cheaper than like shoes for a person, like normal New Balance shoes. Okay, this is awesome. Yeah.
It's amazing how cheap. I would have thought since it's an old Corvette, everything's going to be so high, but they made millions of these engines, these seals, these gaskets. So I got all the prices together, and it's kind of disappointing for me anyway.
All right. Well, you didn't mention the differential in there, so it's probably a little expensive, huh?
Yeah, the differential is like $700 or $800 just for it's a complete kit. You just unbolt the old one, put the new one in.
So that's how much it cost me in parts, and then labor.
Yeah, with the rear diff, while we're having it apart, we'll have the brakes and axle seals. We'll do all those while it's apart. $1,600 with the labor and everything.
That's an expensive burnout.
Yeah.
That's more expensive than the donuts in the E63 wagon years ago.
Yeah, that was just a power steering pump.
And I was able to do the donuts then. This one, it just broke and didn't move, so it did nothing.
Front shocks with labor, $150.
Well, that's more like it. Okay.
Reseal those transmission shaft seals, $150 also.
I'll take it. Okay.
And then while we're there, we'll do the oil pan gasket, the valve cover gaskets, and a full tune-up with points, condenser, everything, and just check everything over.
Fresher
with the
up.
labor, $750 for everything.
Okay. I mean, gets a nice, fresh, clean, sealed up motor. Yeah.
$2,750 for the whole shebang.
Well, all right. So I bought the car for $45. I paid in fees another couple of grand, and then I'll have another. I'll be under $50 in the car.
Yeah.
Which I think is still an absolute steal for a sorted Corvette that looks as nice as it. I guess I haven't done the tour yet because this is all out of order. So I didn't talk about what makes it cool, the tour, all that stuff. So I guess I should do that, if you don't mind.
You should probably do that.
Okay.
And my phone's ringing, my office guy will catch that.
So like I said, with the Car Wizard, there is nothing showing on the top side of this car, any kind of neglect or anything that I just did. It is so darn near mint up here. This is Roman red, what this car left the factory with, but it's been beautifully refreshed. I wouldn't call it a full-blown restoration, but the paint is pretty much flawless. Let me push it back so you can, let's try and push it back. There you go, all the way around it, easier. And not put it in the Lotus or the Jack. Okay, that's gonna have to be good enough. But 62 is actually the last year of the first generation Corvette, so it lost a lot of the jewelry, a lot of the bling in the 60s because that was falling out of fashion, but it still has the same shape. So it's one tone of paint rather than two tones, say, on the 50s ones where they had the white here in the gill, and I personally really like it. Of course, a 58 with all the jewelry does look absolutely gorgeous, but this looks a lot more like, say, an old Corvette race car, especially with the dog dish hubcaps and the red rimmed wheels there. So this is the last year of the first generation Corvette and the 9th year of Corvette production, so we're going on 10 years. It came out in '53 and was a really crude car when it came out. Inline 6, terrible power. By 1955, they put in the V8, the 327. They also started offering Rochester fuel injection, which this one doesn't have, otherwise it would be a big money car, but still the same by 62, the 327, which did continue into the next generation Corvette. So that's why parts are plentiful. They made these engines for so many years, put it in so many cars that parts are all very easy to come by, thankfully. And super simple. You can see the valve cover gaskets would be so easy to do on this car. Old generator, thermostats, I mean, everything looks so simple, so easy to do that even I could probably do it myself if I wasn't such an idiot. This one also came with both tops, the hard tops in place. It looks really good with it on. Fitting it, I'm actually not too bad. Getting in is definitely the challenge because you have the big, thick steering wheel and then the low roof. But once you get in, there is sort of a hump in here to where I fit, say, better than the Countach. I actually don't hit the ceiling and it gives me like a flat top head. I have plenty of room in here. There is no power steering, so steering this thing is definitely a chore when you're parking it. No power brakes, but that's not that bad. Clutch feel isn't too bad. The Muncie 4-speed is certainly, crude, but not too bad. It took a little bit of getting used to. Honestly, I didn't get to drive it too much before I blew the diff, so really didn't get to know the car that well. Now I know I shouldn't probably clutch dump and do burnouts in a 60-year-old Corvette, but beautiful, beautiful gauges. You can see there's the tachometer there, temperature, speedometer. 160 miles an hour seems impossible on this thing, but that's how far the speedometer goes to. And then you have, I believe, what they call the rib cracker rear view mirror. It's mounted on the dashboard instead of up high, which is different, but it definitely works. And then no airbags in 1962, but you do have a grab handle, an you-know-what handle for your passenger. But overall, absolutely beautiful. The quality in here, everything in such nice condition. Obviously, the seat's been replaced, the carpet has been replaced. I don't think any of the gauges or any of this has been done. Even the AM radio is coming alive in this thing, a heater, all that stuff. So everything was in working order. It just looks like it's been sitting for a long time and had a lot of little leaks and neglect. But the one thing you never have to worry about is the fiberglass body rusting on this thing. So there's absolutely no rust on the body, but also no spiderweb cracking. That's the thing. The paint is just so darn nice on this car. Just now a little smudged up from us pushing it around. But on these old Corvettes, you do have to watch the frames for rust. And this one, thankfully, as we saw, really, really nice. So even though I did blow up this car in like 5 minutes of driving it, I am very happy with it. Still, the Corvette market, it could be something that's on the decline. That's why I got this thing for so cheap. Normally this is like a $70,000, $80,000 car. But there are less people on this earth every day that were around to buy these cars new. So the enthusiasm for these, the prices, well, they're literally dying out with that generation. So Maybe I got a good deal, maybe not. But one way to check is where actually I'm going. I'm going to the Barrett Jackson Collector Car Auction to do the live TV coverage again in New Orleans. This is the first New Orleans auction, and they do have a lot of first generation Corvettes there. So we'll kind of find out the market, see if $50,000 was actually a steal or what they're going for now. So I guess we'll jump forward to New Orleans. Well, obviously this isn't the auction in New Orleans. This is the hoopty hangar where all my cars are at. And well, I was a little overwhelmed at Barrett Jackson, New Orleans, because it was my very first time doing live block coverage on live television on the History Channel the entire time. Before, I would just do little field hits every 15, 20 minutes. They would come to me versus being on the block for 5 hours straight. Every single car I had to talk about something. And you know, when it's the 12th Chevelle, it gets a little hard when you're not a big muscle car guy like me. But still, I had an absolute blast. I loved it, but I hated the circumstances as to why I was filling in. Steve Magnante, he's usually the guy up on the block, been doing it for 20 years. He had a brain infection, a terrible one, left him in a coma for a very long time that he's come out of, and the road to recovery there is very, very long. So if you noticed, I've also been filling in on his YouTube channel as well, doing his junkyard digs, his crawls that he would normally do on his YouTube channel, but since he can't right now, he's recovering, I've been doing it for him. I shot 5 videos, so you can check it out there on his channel. You can also check out the Barrett Jackson live auction on their YouTube channel. You can see my very first time covering for Steve, doing the block coverage, and boy oh boy was I wrong when it came to first generation Corvettes. The enthusiasm is stronger than ever, and the prices, well, absolutely unreal. The highest selling car of the auction was a 58 Corvette for $600,000. Now, it was totally custom with an Art Morrison chassis, LS engine, beautifully executed car, but still a classic first generation Corvette on the skin. Now, there were several others. The prices were really impressive. Yeah, a really nice 1961 brought $121,000 with fees, a 58, $106,000, and a 62, much like mine, Roman Red, that one brought $88,000 with fees at auction. And it was like mine, it was a really nice body, but clearly an older restoration, maybe a little bit nicer than mine when it comes to the undercarriage, which would be an easy fix for mine to clean that up a little bit, which, speaking of, the Wizard has been hard at work on my undercarriage of the Corvette, replacing the differential. So in this video, I thought I wasn't going to be able to drive the Corvette, but it is fixed in that sense. All the leaks and the exhaust and all that stuff, still not done yet, but at least I can take you up for a spin and show you what the Wizard found when he took out my old differential. It was a mess. So let's head up to the Car Wizards again. Oh, there's Wizard's gangster truck with a, looks like a diesel in it now, and the Bushmaster is here. Euro Asian Bob, he bought this at Barrett Jackson, New Orleans for a great price, I think. It was predated the Pathfinder, so they took these trucks, converted them, made them into sort of Forerunner things. But yeah, the name, the Bushmaster name is a little strange, huh?
Have you ever mastered any bushes?
No, you know, in the 80s, I was a little kid, so there was none of that for me.
Probably not.
Yeah, how's your week been?
Been pretty good. I'm pretty sore. I'm trying to get limbered up from getting your Corvette done.
Was it hard, like holding up the diff and putting it in?
It weighs like 80 pounds.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, diff weighs more than we want. It also costs more. There were some cheaper used ones, but I wanted to get a nice one. So your estimate of $700 was crushed by a lot by the time I got what I wanted. Posi, new rebuild, it was like $2,500 for that. So this is the old one, huh?
Yes.
Oh.
I have a friend that does dentistry named Taryn. He would be jealous of you pulling so many teeth all in such a short amount of time.
So I dropped the clutch with the engine revved up, and rather than spinning the tires, it just went with every single, yeah, right there.
Yep.
Huh. And now, yeah, you can put these teeth in. You'd be like a vampire for Halloween. If you want to. You gonna do it?
I'm not putting them in my mouth, no.
Well, you put all kinds of things in your mouth.
This could cut my lip.
Okay.
They're sharp.
All right, so it moves under its own power now?
Yeah, and like you mentioned, it has the Posi rear end. The one you ordered is Posi.
Yeah.
This one's not. Even from the factory, it's just what they call an open diff.
So I can do burnouts a lot better in this car now is what you're saying.
Do both wheels. But I don't recommend you do burnouts in this thing.
Well, it's a good time to be a Corvette owner, especially the first generation, because it was the highest sale car of the auction, $600,000. But it had a modern Art Morrison chassis, like modern Corvette running gear. Not this.
You probably should have bought that one to do burnouts.
It was $600,000. This was $45,000. There was another one just like it that brought 80.
80?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm pretty happy, especially if it's driving again. Were you able to do any of the other stuff?
I didn't get anything else done, but I did get it drivable. It's up back on the road again.
So we can cruise.
We could go take a quick cruise, yeah.
You wanna hop in?
Sure.
Well, getting in's a little bit of a challenge with this low roof line, but still not as bad as your Viper with the roof on, I suppose.
I don't think I'll ever put its roof back on. I can't get in and out.
All right, so full throttle and just dump the clutch, right?
No, we don't want to do that all over again.
Well, nice and easy does it on this old car.
Yeah.
That was about a $3,000 burnout attempt. But once you're going, you can get on it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a pretty spirited car for 60 years old.
It's just a 327 under there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you need to take a turn, probably not a good idea to do it one-armed.
No,
because it's
probably not.
Yeah. There we go. We'll cut the turn here. That makes it better. Wow, that feels like power steering.
It's wizard power steering.
There we go. So, yeah, a little crude in that sense as far as the steering and obviously the brakes being drums. I mean, they're not bad. They're not power assisted at all. So definitely a little more challenging than say a modern car, but
They're okay, but they're not great.
it's not hard to drive this car. Really, no. And it's pretty comfortable too. Very little wind noise with the hardtop on as far as the airflow and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to know though, did Elvis have one of these?
No, I don't think so. He was like European cars, I think, when it came to sports cars. Mercedes, BMW 507, Cadillacs, obviously, but yeah, no Corvette. I still feel like I stole this thing.
It's a pretty cool car.
But I'm not going to drive it like I stole it. So thank you for getting all this work done.
Yeah, I'm still a little sore from working on your rear though.
Okay, that is a very, very wholesome way to end this video. This American Icon. Such a cool car. Thank you so much for watching.